Here's how to balance this combustion reaction and how to deal with the fact that the oxygen from the reactant side gets split into two different molecules on the product side. So let's start off by identifying the three elements we have present. And so there are carbon, our hydrogen, and our oxygen. And it's pretty straightforward to see on the reactant side that we have 2 carbon and 6 hydrogen and 2 oxygen. On the product side, we have 1 carbon, we have 2 hydrogen, and then we have 2 oxygen in the carbon dioxide and 1 oxygen in the water. That gives us a total of 3 oxygen on the product side. First thing I always do is I look at my carbons and I go, okay, I've got to balance out my carbons. So I know that I have to have a 2 there. And I go, great. So 2 carbon, and that changes my number of oxygen so that this number is no longer 2, that number is 4, plus then the 1. That gives me 5 for my oxygen. And so my carbon I'm okay with. But then I look at my hydrogen. And on my product side, I've got 2 hydrogen. On my reactant side, I've got 6. But the problem with that, if I do a 3 here in front of the water, my number of oxygen stays as an odd number. And the problem with that is, on my reactant side, I can only ever end up with a total number of oxygens that will be even. That's not always true, because sometimes you could have something like this, in which case you now have more oxygen on the reactant side. So while most of the time it will be true, it's not always. But let's go back to this. So if I did 3 there, that would become 3, and that gives us 7 on my product side. Well, hopefully we see that that can't happen. So let me erase this. All right. And grab another color. And so because of that, I'm going to have to come and deal with these hydrogens. And so put a 2 there. Well, that 2 distributes. That becomes 4. That becomes 12. On this side, on the product side, this becomes a 6, which now means I have 12 hydrogen, and I have those 6 plus those 4 oxygen to give me 10. But notice that my carbon is not balanced. So I got to go take care of that as well, because I have 4 over here on my reactant side. I need 4 on my product side. Well, that makes yet another change. And so I have 8 oxygen from the carbon dioxide and 6 oxygen from the water, giving me 14 total oxygen. And so that gives me the value here of 7. Hope that helps.